Fine. You don't want floodgates? I'll unfloodgate your lab. Hello guys and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode we are talking about Labyrinth. More specifically, a non-floodgate version, because I've heard your comments and your complaints saying, I don't like floodgates. Cool, great, lose, that's fine. Instead, we'll play this version of Labyrinth. Why? Because just high roll, baby. Now, let's quickly do the card by card and the explanation. Obviously, this is a version of the deck that is entirely without floodgates, because people don't like floodgates. So, no, we're not playing Maxi, it's a floodgate, or so I've been told. No, we're not playing Typhon, it's floodgate, or so I've been told, etc., etc. Let's quickly do the card by card. Starting off with the furnitures, we're playing 2 apiece of Sovitorbi and Chandelier, as well as the 1 Coup Clock. Then we're also playing the 3 Ariana as our normal summon, and then 2 Arius, 2 Lady Lab, and 1 Lovely. And that is it for the Labyrinth monsters. As for the other lab cards, we're also playing the 1 Labyrinth, and then 2 apiece of Welcome Lab, and 3 Big Welcome. And that is it for our Labyrinth cards. The rest of the cards are non-engine, basically. So we have ourselves the 2 Gamma as well as the Driver. We're playing 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. We're not playing the Maxi because, obviously, it's a floodgate. Then we're playing the 1 Pot of Extraff as well as the 1 Pot of Prosperity. We're also running 3 Infip. We are then also running a whole bunch of targets for our Lady Lab, as well as just like good traps in general. We're playing 2 apiece of Punishment and Prison and Destructive Daruma Karma Cannon as our normal trap targets. Reason being, for running 2 of these. Most of them are very good just in general, right? So having 2 of them is pretty nice. And the reason we're not running like more copies of like Ice Dragon's Prison or Punishment or something like that, because these are hard ones per turns. I could run 3 copies of the Destructive Daruma, but I wanted to play other cards, specifically the 2 Rollback. I would never play more than this. I feel like for the most part, it's just kind of a dead card. If you draw it, if you draw 2 of it, it's just kind of dead. So I really don't want to draw 2 of it, and you really, really wanted to see it with something like a Sovitorbi or something else along those lines that you could potentially discard it with. And then we're playing the 2 Judgment, because again, this is very, very useful. So there's that. I'd rather play, you know, the 2nd Judgment over the Destructive Daruma. So lots of 2-ofs, but like it still works, and I don't really hate the ratios. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, another reason as to why only 2 Daruma cannons is because of the fact that they don't actually trigger any of the other effects. Like, for example, the Sovitorbi or the Welcome Lab. They don't trigger those to special summon the monsters, or like return the resources with the Welcome Lab and the Chandelier, Sovitorbi, etc. So it's not really all that useful. Well, it is very useful, but it's not always useful. So there's that. As for the extra deck, I also heard a bunch of people complain about how expensive it is. That sucks. Suffer. So we're playing 2 Entis, the 1 Garura, the 1 Baphomet, and then the 1 Omega for the Gamma stuff. We're playing 2 Chaos Angel, the 1 Aggregator, 1 Dark, 3 apiece of Muckracker, 2 SP Little Knight, and the 1 Bucephalos. Now, if you didn't want to play the Pot of Extrav, you could absolutely make this extra deck significantly cheaper, right? But Pot of Extrav is like your best card, and realistically, yeah, you can make the extra deck significantly cheaper if you wanted to. So there you go. There are your options. Anyway, let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck performed. Alright, so here we are going first, and one thing that this deck does in particular that it didn't previously do is it has a different matchup spread, which is, of course, something to expect with such a very different build of this deck. My opponent is going to start off here with the Pressured Planet Wraith South, and of course my opponent is playing Tearlaments. Why would they not be? So yeah, they drew Scream here, they milled, and it's not the greatest of mills. But they do go for the Trick Clown, and out comes Redoer, and I'm like, no. So we just kind of have to hope and pray that we draw something useful here, because if we don't, it's pretty much over. And that is a very good draw, if I do say so myself. We're going to go for this here, and we're going to grab the Big Welcome, and we're just going to pass the turn, which is not great, especially since we have Dogmatic Punishment as like our only real target here. And of course, my opponent draws the Harpy's Feather Duster, because this game hates me. But it's fine, because they just passed the turn, so that's great. So we're going to go for the Ariana here, and then special summon it back the Sovitorbi. Here we can go and normal summon the monster here, and my opponent just doesn't know how Black Goat Laughs works, so cool. I'm going to normal summon the Ariana here, activate its effect in order to grab up the Welcome Lab, and then we're going to send to the graveyard the other Stovi Torby in order to set the field spell. We're going to activate the field spell, set a card, and pass the turn. Oh no, the Black Coat Laugh did something, except it didn't. I'm lying to you. Anyway, they're going to go for the Black Coat Laughs, calling Lovely, which is very cute, because I actually did want Lady here instead of Lovely, because Lady pairs much better with the Dogmatic Punishment than Lovely would have. So, yeah, that's fine. We're going to summon out the Lady here, or the Lovely here, and I'm going to pop the field, or the Scream, because I don't want them to be able to search, or I don't want them to mill additional cards. But they're going to Fusion Summon here into the Kit Kalos, and I'm like, that's A-okay. We're going to, they're going to mill a whole bunch. They hit Hell Shadal, which is kind of funny. And then out comes the Kit Kalos, I'm like, oh, I'm going to try and bounce that, so that it doesn't mill. Doesn't matter. Super Polymerization was the card that they had. Because of course it was. Anyway, they're going to special summon a whole bunch of guys. They're going to mill 11. No. This is mill 8. Sorry. Mill 8 feel great. Here they go for the Kaleido Heart. I'm like, okay, that's fine. They're going to attempt to shuffle away the punishment. Now, here's why they shouldn't have done that. Because, like, here's the thing. No, I know that they're not going to read Lab, but, like, they also don't know what this is. So this could be Destructive Daruma. This could be Mirror Force. I mean, it makes sense for them to shuffle it away. I don't think it's bad, but it does provide a lot of value for me. Because guess what? We just get to chain it. We're gonna pop the monster here, the Tier Cash, and then we get to go and activate a whole bunch of things. They're gonna activate the Dragostapelia. Now I did chain this in a way that Ariana activates first, and then the Entis. So it's gonna go Ariana. And then, it's going to go Entis and then Ariana, and Entis is targeting the Dragostapelia, so even though that they're going to, like, negate my monster, it's not going to be on the field to actually apply the negation, so my monster's just now level 1. Which is fine. We're going to special summon back the Lady off of the effect of our field spell, and then we're going to pop the monster, and I just add the Dogmatic Punishment to hand. I actually do want to keep the card in hand for the Welcome. Now, I do understand why they did this. Right, but this may end up biting them in the butt, because had they just walked over the Ariana, I would have been pretty low on life points, and I wouldn't have been able to really normal summon an Ariana like I do on the following turn here. So we're going to go to the draw phase, main phase, standby phase, yada yada. Go into the main phase. My opponent is going to activate the SnowiKs here. They're going to negate the Ariana for some reason, but that's fine. I'm just going to pop this with our trap here, and then I'm going to activate the Lovely here. And now I know this may seem weird. Wait, why would we pop the SnowiKs? We don't want to do that. No, I'm not. I'm going to pop the Kaleido Heart. Because, yeah, we could have ashed it, right? Like, oh, why didn't we ash that? Well, because I'm just going to pop it. And then it dies. And I'm not really too worried about what they're summoning here. So, there's that. My opponent goes for the special summon here of the Rukalos, because Kit Kalos was in the grave, but that's fine. We're just going to try and set the Dogmatic Punishment. Also, this is the first time they used this Keldo, which they milled, I believe, on the first turn, so I don't know where that was last turn, but they just decided not to do that. Anyway, we get to now normal summon the Ariana, and since our life points aren't low enough, we should be okay to just go for the Ariana here. My opponent is then going to go for the Snow here and book the Lovely, which is good. That's smart. It doesn't really matter too much, but it is smart. Anyway, my opponent normal summons the Rhino Heart, and good thing I kept that Ash, huh? Dear Lanta, that was an insane top deck. They're going to go for the Dugaris, which is cute, so I'm going to go for the Big Welcome, and then I'm going to go for the Welcome here, because it's going to be probably negated by the Rukalos. But we do need to get rid of this guy. They're going to go and search a card, but they've already normal summoned, so I'm not really too worried. Out comes another guy, and we're going to search out the Chandelier, and yeah, we're doing pretty good here. My opponent's going to go to the battle phase and just walk over my Ariana. I'm like, yep, that's fine. And we just kind of have to hope that they don't hit... No, I honestly don't. I don't think it matters at this point. They really screwed up here. So we're going to go for the Dogmatic Punishment as well. They mill fairly well. They mill the Sheeran, which is important. And they're going to go for the Kaleido Heart here. They're going to activate the effect of the Kaleido Heart. They're going to shuffle away my guy. And I'm like, that's totally fine, because guess what? Chaos Angel. Boo. So they're going to banish their own Kaleido Heart with their Snow, so that at least Snow does something. But we're going to pitch 2. We're going to set our Big Welcome. And they're going to book my Chaos Angel. And I'm like, no. Here's... go away, Rukalos, which does trigger our Ariana. And, yeah, at this point, my opponent just concedes, realizing Snow is not enough to win them that game. So, good game. Alright, so here we are once again going first. and it's pretty good hand. We're gonna normal summon the Ariana to be met by the Gamma, and I'm actually going to chain here the Labyrinth, or the Lady here, because I believe this negates the activation. Yeah, negate that activation. So we wouldn't have been able to summon the Lady had they negated that, because this does have to have a card activate, and if the card activation is negated, we wouldn't be able to summon the guy. So we have to chain it there while the card is still in the process of activating. It's very weird, but yeah. Now we get to go for the Lady here. We're going to set the rollback, which seems kind of strange, but here's the thing. I fear for my life against Tenpai. So thus far, I've seen Gamma, and that's it. So I'm like, okay, this could very well be Tenpai. So I'm going to add back the Lady. I'm going to attempt to snipe a card. I hit D Crow, which is kind of funny. And they go for King's Arc. It was Horus. It was Horus the whole time. Cool. Anyway, they're going to go for, again, another set of the Horus cards. I'm going to go for the Welcome here in order to go for the Ariana. Ariana is going to search the Chandra, and then they're going to walk over my guy. Not really that big of a deal. Out comes Dingirsu, and I know that they're going to send the Destructive Daruma. They're not going to give me rollback, so yeah, we'll just set it. Might as well. And then my opponent just passes the turn. Anyway, out comes Lady. Not really that big of a deal. We're going to go for the Pot of Prosperity here, and we're going to banish 6 for... I guess I'll grab a rollback here with Chandra. It's not terrible. So we're going to go and pitch that in order to grab up the Big Welcome, and then we're going to activate the effect of the rollback engrave to go for the secondary Big Welcome to grab up the Lovely. Lovely is going to activate its effect, to the which it will be met by a skill drain, which is very funny, because... I just get to bounce my monster back to my hand because we didn't activate the Big Welcome on this turn. So yeah, we just bounce and then destroy their like one card that does anything. And now they're under a skill drain, which matters so much more for them. Anyway, out comes Lady, and have at it, bro. Pop off, King. But of course, they top deck the actual card that does something here, and I'm like, oh, that's not allowed. So we're gonna go for the Lovely here, and then as well, we're going to go for the Welcome. We're going to go for both of the Welcomes to get the Lady to set the Dogmatic Punishment. Anyway, we also grab a Stovi Torvi off of that. They go for the SP Little Knight, mostly I would imagine just to like get Insetti onto the field. And this may look like I'm dead, right? But I'm not in any capacity because Lovely has the ability to summon itself. So, cool. They didn't have enough to deal with Lady and the Arias. So, there you go. I'm going to chain here, and then, again, bounce, so that we don't have to deal with the skill drain. We're just going to set the Destructive Daruma. We're going to go for the Entis here. We're going to pop the King's Arc, as well as just chain a whole bunch of things, and at that point, they realize the game is over, and... skill drain, am I right? Alright, but here we are, going second, and we drew Gamma. And that's it. Uh-oh. Hopefully it's enough. My opponent goes for the Diabell Star, pitching, contain. So, there's that. I'm going to go for the Gamma here, and seeing that they max C, I'm like, oh, they really needed that, didn't they? Anyway, they draw Airlifter. What can you do? So they're going to go for the Emergency here. They're going to go for the Turbulence off of the Hydrant. Here they banish to set the Contain, which is a goof. I think that's just, like, not a good idea. Because, reason being, then they didn't have enough targets for their Turbulence in hand, so, now they had to go through the Link Karibo, which is not terrible, but like it could have been better. They're going to set 3 here, which is kind of interesting. They set Rescue and Emergency and Extinguish, and then they have Contain. And I'm guessing that last card is the Alert. So, there's that. Anyway, yeah, they go for the SP. They banish Gamma, which is kind of funny, but they also just didn't need to. Anyway, during the draw phase, they're going to bring back the Hydrant off of the Preventer. And I'm just going to draw 2 here. By the way, horrible draws. Horrible draw for turn. But then we do draw Infip, which actually is pretty good here, because we're going to go for the Infip, we're going to set a card, and we're going to go for the Lady here, and I knew that they were going to contain the Ariana, which is why I did this way, so that we now get the effect of the Lady. They're going to then trigger their own effect and summon the Preventer here, and I'm going to grab the Daruma. They're going to book my guy, which is going to end up killing them. This was the biggest mistake that they made, which sounds really strange, but if you've ever read Lady while you control a set card, first line of text, it's the first 6 words. It's the first 6 words. If you control a set card, not a set spell or trap, which means I still can't be targeted. while the Ariana is face down, I cannot be targeted, which means I can just fire these willy-nilly and not really have to worry about it. Anyway, my opponent's going to go for the Hydrant here. They're going to search out the Impulse. Cute. Here they're going to switch this guy to attack position. Cute. They're going to go for the Rescue here. They're going to special summon out the Turbulence. Now, one thing that makes this matchup almost like obscenely overpowered, or not overpowered, just insanely in the favor of Lab, is the fact that all of these cards target and they just cannot deal with a lady. Like, if you have a singular trap, this deck doesn't do anything. They just can't beat you. It's very funny. So, there's that. Anyway, they're going to set 2 more cards, and they set the Alert here, and I'm like, oh, so this is not Alert. This is likely Called By. Because I'm like, there's no shot it's, like, Imperm or something stupid like that. Anyway, they're going to go for the Alert here, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. They're going to search out a second Turbulence, which is very funny. They're going to banish 2 here, they're going to special summon out this guy, and then they're going to go to the combat phase, to which I will just put it all face down. I'm going to chain the Big Welcome here, and yeah, they changed SP, and it didn't really matter. This is why I'm going for the Big Welcome at this point, just so that I can set the second Daruma. We're going to grab up the Stovi Torby as well, just as additional ways to get things. And I know you're like, well, if you just said that this is Called By, why'd we grab the Stovi Torby? Because we kind of need to, right? And, yeah, there it is. This is not really, like, a better option. I guess I could have gone, like, Ariana here, but, like, Ariana loses to the Contain that they have set, so, give or take, right? And we just draw the Ariana, because I'm, you know, a Labyrinth player. It's that simple. They also just allow me to walk over the SP Little Knight there. Not really like they could have done anything about that, but, like, they did it. Anyway, sorry, very interesting sequence is happening here. I go normal summon Ariana, they go Chainlink 2 Contain, I go Chainlink 3 Lady, they go Chainlink 4 Emergency for some reason, I go Chainlink 5, I'm gonna bounce, right, with the Big Welcome, so I target the Ariana, to which my opponent will go Chainlink 6 Extinguish. So this Ariana is really threatening a lot. What's funny is that this doesn't do anything. I still get my search, which is like the exact card, the exact thing that I wanted. So it didn't really matter there. But yeah, out comes the Airlifter, and hold on, let the chain resolve. It doesn't search anything. Now you might be like, oh yeah, that's not really that big of a deal. Like, yeah, they don't have a search target. What? They've used up all of their emergencies, right? Well, yeah, okay. He doesn't search anything. They're not playing the field spell. That's the important thing to know. He's not playing the field spell. Because here's the thing, if he has the field spell, he still loses. But, at the very least, he can play a drawn-out game. They're just not. I could not tell you as to why you would not play the field spell. The field spell is so incredibly useful in this game. Maybe against, like, Tenpai it's not, because you're not really going to play that long drawn-out game. But, against, like, every other deck, you kind of need the field spell. Anyway, my opponent has the second Called By. Tragic. I didn't expect the second one, but not really that big of a deal. Because again, they cannot beat the lady. What are they gonna do? Target it? We have the Destructive Daruma as well, so it's like as soon as they do anything, we just send it away. Anyway, they're gonna bring back the Impulse here, and I'm like, that's fine. We're gonna chain here, and chain the lady. They're gonna chain the Impulse, set, you know, summon the Hydrant, which goes face down, and then they realize, oh shoot, I have nothing. Good game. Alright, we're back with the deck, and honestly, this deck is terrible against Tenpai. It's so unbelievably bad. I don't think I won a single game. I don't even think it was close. Every game was just a blowout. Because the thing is, right, the idea is like, oh, what if I do this against Tenpai? Right? What if I do X thing? Doesn't matter. It does not matter what you do against Tenpai. It is entirely up to the luck of the draw. However, there's a few things you can do to kind of help your favor, right? Because there's only a certain amount of cards that Tenpai can draw against something like an anti-spell, right? They'd have to draw a Cosmic, which not everyone is playing, or they'd have to draw something like a Red Reboot, which, for some reason, not everyone is playing. That one doesn't make as much sense to me, right? Or they would need to be able to play through your board without any spells, which is a little bit more difficult for them to do. Right, so for that, it's pretty useful, right? Against something like the Dimensional Barrier as well, they would need to be able to potentially kill you without any of the synchros, which is a little bit more difficult, right? And there's a lot of things that you can do to slow them down, or to prevent them from immediately killing you, which should be enough to at least get you into that game. But as of right now, with this deck, yeah, you could. You could. You know, rollback is pretty good with the Destructive Daruma Karma Cannon. You know? And, like, if they have the Songan summoning, you would be able to Daruma Cannon them for their whole field. Right? As long as you have something that you can flip face down, you'd be able to send away their field, which is pretty nice. And then, as long as they didn't draw the quick play spell, you'd be fine, theoretically. But that's the thing, is, like, you kind of just have to rely on them not drawing it. Whereas if you have something else to supplement your board, right? Something like a summon limit, something like a dimensional barrier, something like a etc. You can just kind of prevent them from playing the game and not have to just hope and pray that you draw what you need to and they don't draw what they need to. So, would I suggest this deck? No. But it is more fun, so, hey, if you like to have fun specifically, and, but, okay, if you like to have fun, don't play. Just don't play the game right now. Just wait for Tenpai to, like, go away forever. And then maybe play Yu-Gi-Oh! Smile. Tenpai is awful. I hate it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, I like it very much, so appreciate it, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.